Welcome to the deep blue world of the ocean's most powerful predators. As you settle into comfort and prepare for rest, we'll explore a remarkable story, a story of power, intelligence, and survival in the vast expanse of the sea. Take a deep breath, and let's begin. In the open ocean, two predators dominate the imagination of humans, the orca and the great white shark. These are the creatures that have inspired countless documentaries, films, and nightmares. They represent raw power, ancient lineages, perfect adaptations for hunting. When we think of ocean predators, these two species rise immediately to mind. They are icons of the sea, symbols of nature's most refined killing machines, evolved over millions of years to rule their watery domains. One of these predators has held our fascination for generations. The great white is often described as the ocean's most feared fish. Its very name evokes terror and respect. Great whites have prowled the oceans for millions of years, surviving ice ages and mass extinctions, perfecting their design through countless generations. They are built for one purpose: hunting. Their streamlined bodies, their powerful tails, their acute senses, everything about them speaks to predatory excellence. The size of these sharks is impressive by any measure. Most adult great whites grow between 4 and 5.5 meters long and can weigh 680 to 1,800 kilograms. Imagine a fish longer than most cars, weighing more than a ton. These are not small creatures darting through coral reefs. These are massive predators cruising the open ocean and coastal waters, searching for seals, sea lions, fish, and occasionally sea turtles. Their size alone makes them formidable, capable of taking down prey much larger than themselves. Their hunting strategy is devastatingly effective. They are powerful ambush hunters built for sudden bursts of speed. Great whites don't chase prey over long distances like some predators. Instead, they patrol slowly, conserving energy, watching, waiting. When they identify a target, a seal resting at the surface, perhaps, they dive deep, then surge upward at incredible speed, sometimes breaching completely out of the water with the force of their attack. The prey often doesn't know what hit them. It's over in seconds, a perfect ambush executed with millions of years of evolutionary refinement behind it. Their jaws contain a fearsome arsenal. Their mouths contain around 300 serrated triangular teeth, constantly replaced throughout their lives. 300 teeth arranged in multiple rows, each one sharp as a blade, each edge serrated like a steak knife. When a great white bites, these teeth slice and saw through flesh, blubber, and bone with terrifying efficiency. And when teeth are lost, as they regularly are during violent feeding, new teeth rotate forward from the rows behind, like a conveyor belt of daggers. A great white can go through thousands of teeth in its lifetime, always armed, always ready. Yet for all their power, they are not invincible. Yet even this legendary predator has a natural enemy. This might come as a shock. The great white shark, apex predator, ocean's most feared fish, has something to fear. There is something in the ocean that hunts them, something that kills them deliberately, something that has learned to see these magnificent predators as prey. The balance we imagine, with great whites at the absolute top of the ocean food chain, is not quite accurate. The enemy is both familiar and surprising. That enemy is the orca, also known as the killer whale. Killer whale. The name itself should have told us. These are not gentle giants of the sea. They are predators, members of the dolphin family, but grown to enormous size and equipped with intelligence that may rival our own. They hunt in packs. They communicate in complex dialects. They pass knowledge between generations. And they fear nothing in the ocean. The size comparison favors the orca significantly. Adult male orcas can reach 6 to 8 meters long and weigh over 6 tons, sometimes approaching 10 tons. 10 tons. That's 10,000 kilograms, 5 to 10 times heavier than a great white shark. An orca is not just bigger, it's in a different weight class entirely. When a large male orca encounters a great white, it's like a heavyweight boxer facing a welterweight. The mass difference alone changes everything about the encounter. But size is only part of the story. Unlike sharks, orcas are warm-blooded marine mammals with enormous lungs and powerful tail flukes. Warm blood means sustained activity, the ability to maintain high energy output for extended periods. Enormous lungs mean they can hold their breath for long dives, execute complex hunting strategies that require patience and coordination. And those tail flukes, moving up and down rather than side to side like a shark's tail, provide incredible power and maneuverability. An orca can accelerate, turn, dive, and surface with precision a shark cannot match. The conclusion becomes clear when we consider all factors. In terms of size, intelligence, and teamwork, the orca often holds the advantage. A great white is a solitary hunter, powerful but alone, relying on ambush and individual prowess. An orca is part of a family group, coordinating attacks, sharing knowledge, adapting strategies to different prey. A great white is intelligent for a fish, capable of learning and memory. An orca's intelligence approaches that of great apes, possibly even early humans in some measures. When these two predators meet, it is not always the shark that swims away. For many years, the ocean kept its secrets. Scientists observed both species, documented their behaviors, but rarely saw them interact. The assumption seemed reasonable enough. For many years, scientists assumed encounters between orcas and great whites were extremely rare. The ocean is vast, after all. Both species are mobile, ranging over huge territories. The probability of a predatory encounter seemed low. Yes, their ranges overlapped in places, but the ocean is mostly empty space. Finding each other would be like finding a specific car on a continent-spanning highway system. So when scientists studied these animals, they treated them as separate subjects, rarely considering direct interactions. But assumptions in science are always vulnerable to new evidence. But around the world, new evidence began to appear. It started slowly, scattered reports from different regions, easy to dismiss as isolated incidents. A shark carcass here, an unusual observation there. But gradually, the reports accumulated. Researchers in different countries, working independently, began noticing similar patterns. Something was happening. Something that challenged the existing understanding of ocean predator dynamics. The first clear sign was impossible to ignore. Dead great white sharks started washing ashore in several regions. Not just one or two, but enough to form a pattern. South Africa reported them. California beaches found them. Australia's coastlines yielded shark bodies. These weren't sharks killed by fishing gear or nets. These weren't old animals dying of natural causes. These were healthy sharks, some quite large, found dead under mysterious circumstances. What made these deaths particularly interesting was consistency. Many of them showed a very unusual pattern of injuries. The bodies weren't torn apart randomly. There was no evidence of prolonged struggle or multiple attacks from different angles. Instead, the injuries were specific, precise, almost surgical in their nature. Whatever had killed these sharks knew exactly what it was doing. The location of the primary wound was remarkably consistent. The bodies had a clean tear between the pectoral fins. Between the fins, roughly at the shark's midsection, the body had been opened. Not bitten multiple times, not shredded, but opened deliberately. The wound was clean-edged, purposeful. It spoke of precision, of targeting, of intent. This wasn't feeding frenzy or defensive attack. This was something else entirely. And within that opened body cavity, the pattern became even clearer. One organ was always missing. Always the same organ. Always removed, never left behind. Whatever predator was doing this, it wasn't interested in eating the entire shark. It had a specific target in mind, a specific nutritional goal. The rest of the shark, hundreds of kilograms of muscle and cartilage and organs, could be left to drift or wash ashore. Only one part mattered. The missing organ told researchers what the killer wanted. That organ was the liver, the shark's largest and fattiest internal organ. The liver. In a great white shark, the liver is enormous, oil-rich, nutritionally dense. It serves multiple purposes for the shark: buoyancy control, energy storage, vitamin production. But to another predator, it represents something simpler, an incredibly concentrated package of calories and nutrients. Taking just the liver provides maximum nutrition for minimum effort. The restraint was almost more striking than the violence. In some cases, the rest of the shark's body remained almost untouched. Aside from the wound between the pectoral fins and the removal of the liver, the shark was intact. Muscles weren't torn away. Other organs weren't consumed. Fins weren't removed. The precision suggested intelligence, decision-making, a predator that knew exactly what it wanted and took only that, leaving the rest as unwanted byproduct. The mystery demanded explanation. Researchers began to suspect a highly intelligent predator was responsible. The precision ruled out most possibilities. Scavengers don't selectively remove organs. Other sharks don't exhibit such surgical feeding behavior. The wounds didn't match any known shark predation pattern. Whatever did this could identify specific anatomical features, could manipulate a massive shark body with enough control to extract a particular organ, could do so efficiently enough that it became a repeatable pattern. The evidence began pointing in a specific direction. Increasingly, the evidence pointed toward Orcas. Bite mark analysis suggested large, powerful jaws. The size of the wounds indicated a predator even larger than the sharks. Witness reports from some regions mentioned Orcas in the vicinity before sharks washed ashore. Researchers familiar with orca behavior knew these animals were capable of sophisticated hunting techniques, of targeting specific prey parts, of learning and transmitting hunting strategies within family groups. The pieces of the puzzle were coming together, forming a picture both fascinating and disturbing. As evidence accumulated globally, one location provided the clearest window into this remarkable predator-prey relationship. Off the coast of one country, two individual orcas would become the most famous shark hunters in the world. One of the most famous cases began off the coast of South Africa. South Africa's coastline, particularly around the Western Cape, has long been known for its great white shark population. False Bay, Gans Bay, Mossel Bay, these are names familiar to anyone interested in sharks. The waters are rich with seals, the great white's favorite prey, and shark tourism had become a significant industry. Researchers had been studying the white shark population here for decades, tagging individuals, documenting their movements and behaviors. Into this well-studied system came two new arrivals. Two male orcas appeared regularly in shark-rich waters. They weren't part of the resident orca population, which numbered only a few dozen animals. These two were different, distinctive, memorable. They seemed to arrive deliberately in areas known for high shark concentrations. They weren't just passing through, they were hunting. Their appearance made them instantly recognizable. Scientists nicknamed them Port and Starboard, after the direction their dorsal fins leaned. Orca dorsal fins, especially in males, can be up to 2 meters tall. Normally they stand erect, but these two males both had dorsal fins that collapsed to one side. Ports leaned to the left, starboards to the right, like the left and right sides of a ship. It was unusual, distinctive, making the two whales easy to identify from a distance. They became celebrities of sorts, infamous arrivals that everyone recognized. Their presence coincided with changes in the ecosystem. Around 2015, these two whales started appearing near well-known great white hunting grounds. Seal Island, where great whites launched their famous breaching attacks on seals. The kelp forests where sharks cruised looking for opportunities. The shallow bays where juvenile sharks gathered. Port and Starboard appeared in these places with increasing frequency, and their presence did not go unnoticed. Shortly after their appearances, the pattern began. Soon afterward, multiple dead sharks began washing ashore. Not just one or two, but a steady stream of bodies. 5 sharks, 7 sharks, 10 sharks over the following months and years. All showed the same injury pattern. All were missing their livers. The correlation was impossible to ignore. When Port and Starboard were sighted, sharks died. When the whales moved on, the killing stopped. The connection was clear. 1 year marked a particular spike in incidents. By 2017, at least 7 great white sharks had been found with their livers removed. 7 confirmed cases in 1 year. Each one documented, photographed, examined by researchers. The pattern was undeniable now. This wasn't coincidence or isolated incident. This was systematic predation, repeated hunting success, a new predator-prey relationship emerging before scientists' eyes. Some of the victims were known individuals. One of these sharks was a famous 4.9-meter female nicknamed Khaleesi. She had been tagged and tracked by researchers. She was a large, mature female, an experienced predator herself, queen of her domain. Yet she too ended up as a victim, her body washing ashore with the now familiar wound. If Khaleesi could be killed and consumed in this way, no great white was safe from these two orcas. The evidence linking the whales to the kills grew stronger. Researchers began linking the deaths to the two orcas. Sightings of Port and Starboard were reported just before some of the bodies appeared. Video footage showed the whales hunting in areas where dead sharks later washed up. The timeline matched. The location matched. The injury pattern matched. While researchers couldn't directly observe every kill, the circumstantial evidence was overwhelming. Examination of the wounds revealed sophisticated technique. The pattern of wounds suggested extremely precise attacks. These weren't random bites or opportunistic scavenging. The wounds were clean, purposeful, efficient. The orcas knew exactly where to bite, how to open the shark's body, how to access the liver. They had either figured this out through experience or had learned it from other orcas. Either way, it represented sophisticated hunting behavior. The motivation became increasingly clear. It seemed the whales were specifically targeting the shark's fatty liver. Not the flesh. Not the fins. Not the nutrient-rich blood. Just the liver. This selectivity suggested the orcas understood the nutritional value of different organs, could differentiate between them, and could efficiently extract the most valuable one. It was hunting behavior refined to an art, predation elevated to precision cuisine. The direct predation was remarkable enough. But what happened next revealed something even more fascinating about shark behavior and ocean ecosystems. Something even more surprising happened after the attacks. The bodies washing ashore were evidence of individual sharks being killed. That was significant, certainly, but localized, a few sharks out of a population numbering in the hundreds or thousands. The ecosystem could absorb such losses. But the sharks themselves responded in a way researchers didn't anticipate. The great whites made a collective decision. Great white sharks began abandoning the area entirely. Not just moving to different hunting grounds or adjusting their patterns slightly. They left. They fled the region, swimming away from what had been their homes, their territories, their prime hunting grounds. Areas where sharks had been reliably sighted for decades suddenly became empty of great whites. Technology allowed researchers to track this exodus. Tagging studies showed that 14 tagged sharks fled the region after orca sightings. These were sharks equipped with electronic tags that transmitted their locations via satellite when they surfaced. The data was unambiguous. After orcas were sighted in an area, tagged sharks left, often immediately. Some went east along the coast, some headed into deeper water, some simply disappeared from the study area entirely. The speed of departure was remarkable. Some sharks left within only a few hours. Hours. Not days or weeks. Within hours of orcas arriving in an area, sharks that had been present for weeks or months would vanish. It suggested that sharks could detect orca presence quickly, perhaps through sound, perhaps through chemical cues in the water, perhaps through some sense we don't fully understand. And once detected, the response was immediate flight. The transformation of the ecosystem was dramatic. In what had once been one of the world's greatest shark hotspots, sightings collapsed. False Bay, Gansby, these places had been synonymous with great white sharks. Tour operators ran cage diving operations where seeing sharks was virtually guaranteed. Researchers could reliably find sharks for their studies. The entire local ecosystem had adapted to the presence of these apex predators. And then, suddenly, they were gone. The numbers told a stark story. By 2020, daily great white sightings in places like Gansby dropped to nearly zero. From multiple sharks per day to none. From guaranteed encounters to rare glimpses. The population hadn't died off entirely, the sharks had simply left. But for the local ecosystem and the humans who depended on it, the effect was the same. The economic impact was immediate. Cage diving tourism that relied on reliable shark sightings began to struggle. Tour operators who had invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in boats, cages, and equipment found themselves with nothing to show tourists. The sharks were gone. Visitors still wanted to see them, but the stars of the show had fled. Some operations shut down. Others shifted to different locations or different species. An entire industry built on the presence of great white sharks was disrupted by the arrival of just 2 orcas. The scientific implications were profound. Scientists realized the presence of just a few orcas could change the behavior of an entire predator population. This was a new understanding of top predator interactions. Yes, predators kill each other occasionally. But entire populations fleeing from a small number of individuals? That suggested something deeper than simple predation risk. It suggested that sharks recognized orcas as a threat so severe that even the possibility of an encounter was unacceptable. The sharks were demonstrating clear risk assessment. Even the ocean's most feared shark seemed unwilling to risk an encounter. Great whites are not timid animals. They attack prey much larger than themselves. They patrol territories against other sharks. They are confident predators, unafraid of most things in the ocean. Yet orcas triggered a different response entirely. Not aggression, not territory defense, but immediate retreat. The calculus was simple. The risk of staying far outweighed any benefit. The pattern was consistent and clear. When the killer whales arrived, the sharks simply left. Port and Starboard, just 2 animals out of millions of organisms in these coastal waters, had fundamentally altered the distribution of one of the ocean's apex predators. It was a stunning demonstration of the power of fear, of risk perception, of how predator-prey dynamics can reshape entire ecosystems even without direct consumption of every individual. For years, the evidence had been circumstantial: dead sharks, fleeing populations, suspicious timing. But researchers had never witnessed the actual attack. That changed in 2023. In 2023, researchers witnessed something extraordinary. They had been documenting orca and shark interactions for years, always arriving after the fact, examining bodies, analyzing patterns. But on one particular day, the timing aligned perfectly. Researchers were in the right place at the right time, cameras ready, when one of the most famous orcas in the world executed an attack. The location was significant. Near Mossel Bay in South Africa, a single orca named Starboard attacked a great white shark. Mossel Bay, another hotspot for great whites, another place where sharks and seals and orcas occasionally shared the same waters. Starboard, one half of the infamous duo, was hunting alone this time. Port was elsewhere, or perhaps nearby but out of sight. It didn't matter. Starboard was about to demonstrate that these whales didn't need teamwork to kill sharks. The shark was not fully grown. The shark was about 2.5 meters long, still a juvenile. A juvenile great white is still a formidable predator, capable of hunting seals and fish, equipped with the same serrated teeth and powerful jaws as adults. But at 2.5 meters and perhaps 200 kilograms, it was much smaller than the orca. The size mismatch was significant. Starboard, at perhaps 7 meters and 6 tons, outweighed the shark by a factor of 30. The attack began with positioning. The orca surfaced behind the shark. Orcas are ambush predators too, capable of incredible stealth for such large animals. Starboard likely approached from below and behind, using the ocean's depth and the shark's limited rear vision to get close without detection. When the orca surfaced, it was already too late for the shark to escape. The speed of the attack was breathtaking. Within moments it seized the animal. No prolonged chase. No repeated attempts. Starboard grabbed the shark, probably in its jaws, exerting thousands of pounds of bite force. The shark would have struggled, thrashing, trying to escape, but against an animal this size and this powerful, resistance was futile. The entire event was shockingly brief. The entire attack lasted less than 2 minutes. 120 seconds from seizure to completion. In that time, Starboard killed the shark, opened its body, and extracted the organ it wanted. 2 minutes. For context, that's barely enough time to read a few paragraphs of text. In the time it takes to watch a commercial break, an entire predatory interaction between two apex predators played out to its conclusion. The technique was precise and practiced. Starboard tore open the shark's body. The orca knew exactly where to bite, exactly how much force to apply. The shark's tough skin, designed to resist bites from other sharks and protect against abrasion, was no defense against Starboard's jaws. The body cavity opened, exposing the internal organs. The target extraction was surgical. With remarkable precision, the orca removed the liver. Not by tearing chunks randomly, not by eating the entire organ in one piece, but by extracting it carefully, completely. The liver emerged intact, carried in the orca's mouth or perhaps broken into large sections that were consumed separately. This was practiced technique, refined through repetition, possibly learned from other orcas or developed through Starboard's own experience. Physical evidence marked the water. Oil from the liver spread across the water's surface. Shark liver is incredibly oily, filled with compounds called squalene and other lipids. When released into water, these oils float, creating a distinctive slick. Researchers watching from boats could see this slick spreading, a greasy sheen marking the location of the kill, visual evidence of what had been taken. Even the smell reached observers. Scientists even reported a distinct smell of shark liver in the air. Those who have encountered shark liver describe its odor as fishy, oily, pungent. Strong enough to detect from a boat, strong enough to confirm what they had just witnessed. The smell, the oil, the visual observation of the attack, everything confirmed this was not staged, not imagined, but real documented predation, finally captured on camera and witnessed directly by scientists. The South African cases had gained the most attention, but researchers began discovering this wasn't isolated behavior. Other orcas, in other oceans, were hunting sharks with similar techniques. Other groups of killer whales have been seen using similar methods. In multiple locations around the world, reports emerged of orcas targeting sharks, particularly juvenile great whites. The techniques varied slightly, adapted to local conditions and prey availability, but the core strategy, targeting sharks, often for their livers, remained consistent. This suggested the behavior wasn't unique to Port and Starboard but represented a broader pattern. One particularly well-documented case came from the Eastern Pacific. In the Gulf of California, researchers filmed a group known as Moctezuma's Pod. The Gulf of California, that long narrow sea between Baja California and mainland Mexico, is home to diverse marine life including several shark species. Moctezuma's Pod, a family group of orcas, had developed their own shark hunting specialty. Their prey choice was similar to Starboard's. These whales hunted juvenile great white sharks. Young sharks, not yet fully grown, still learning their own hunting skills, vulnerable in ways that adult sharks are not. The juveniles were abundant in some parts of the Gulf, making them reliable prey for orcas skilled enough to catch them. The technique involved multiple orcas. Working together, they chased the sharks toward the surface. Coordination was key. Multiple whales swimming in formation, herding the shark, cutting off escape routes, driving it upward toward the bright water near the surface. Sharks can swim fast in short bursts, but orcas can sustain speed longer. In a prolonged chase, the orcas had the advantage. The critical moment came in the final phase. At the right moment, the whales flipped the sharks upside down. This maneuver requires precision and strength. An orca had to get beneath or beside the shark, then use its body and flippers to roll the shark onto its back. For a shark, this is a profoundly disorienting experience. The physiological effect was dramatic. This triggers a state known as tonic immobility. Tonic immobility is a natural response in many shark species. When inverted, they enter a kind of temporary paralysis, becoming docile and unresponsive. Scientists don't fully understand why this happens. It may be related to sensory confusion, to disruption of fluid balance in the inner ear, or to some other neurological mechanism. But the effect is clear: the shark stops struggling. This state made the kill safe and easy. In this state, the shark becomes temporarily paralyzed. A shark in tonic immobility cannot bite, cannot swim away, cannot defend itself. It simply hangs in the water, motionless, vulnerable. For the orcas, this transformed a potentially dangerous predator into helpless prey. There was no risk of being bitten, no chance of the shark escaping. The execution followed quickly. Once immobilized, the orcas could attack safely. With the shark unable to resist, the whales could approach the vulnerable underside, could bite precisely between the pectoral fins, could open the body cavity without any struggle. The technique turned shark hunting into a low-risk, high-reward activity. The feeding pattern matched what was seen in South Africa. They removed the liver and sometimes shared the organ among pod members. Multiple orcas participated in consuming the liver, each taking portions. This sharing behavior is common in orca pods, particularly among family members. The whale that made the kill wasn't necessarily the only one to eat. The whole pod benefited, reinforcing the cooperative nature of their hunting. The implications were significant. This behavior suggests a learned hunting tradition within the group. Orcas don't instinctively know how to hunt sharks. They learn by watching older, experienced pod members. Mothers teach their calves. Siblings learn from each other. Over time, a pod can develop specialized techniques that are passed down through generations, creating what scientists call cultural transmission, learned behavior that characterizes a particular group and persists over time. Understanding why orcas target this specific organ requires understanding both shark biology and predator nutritional needs. The liver represents something special in the ocean's economy of energy. The reason orcas target the liver is simple: energy. In the ocean, finding food requires expending energy. Swimming, hunting, chasing prey, all of this burns calories. A successful predator must take in more energy than it expends. The more energy-dense the food, the more efficient the hunting. And in the body of a great white shark, no organ is more energy-dense than the liver. The proportion is remarkable. A great white's liver can make up more than a quarter of its body weight. In a large shark weighing 1,000 kilograms, the liver might weigh 300 kilograms. 300 kilograms of organ tissue from a single prey item. That's an enormous mass of potential nutrition, all concentrated in one accessible location. The composition explains the value. It is filled with rich oils and fats. Not just any fats, but highly concentrated lipids, particularly squalene, a compound so calorie-dense that it's prized by humans for various industrial and cosmetic uses. These oils are nearly pure energy, far more concentrated than muscle tissue or other organs. The biological function for sharks is specific. These oils help sharks control their buoyancy. Unlike bony fish, which have swim bladders filled with gas, sharks maintain neutral buoyancy through their large, oil-filled livers. The oil is less dense than water, providing lift that compensates for the shark's heavy, dense skeleton and muscles. A great white can adjust its depth without active swimming, partly because of this buoyant liver. For orcas, the nutritional calculation is compelling. For a predator like an orca, it is an incredibly dense source of calories. Eating muscle tissue provides protein and some fat. Eating the liver provides concentrated energy in the most efficient package available in the ocean. The caloric return on effort invested in hunting is maximized by taking the liver and leaving the rest. The selective consumption becomes understandable. Instead of eating the entire shark, the whales often take only this organ. Why spend time and energy consuming hundreds of kilograms of tough muscle and cartilage when you can get most of the nutritional value from one organ? It's efficiency optimization, maximizing caloric gain while minimizing time spent feeding, time that could be spent hunting additional prey or resting. The evidence from recovered carcasses is consistent. Many recovered shark carcasses show the same pattern of precise organ removal. Whether in South Africa, California, Australia, or Mexico, the pattern repeats. The liver is gone. The rest remains. Sometimes hearts are also taken, another organ rich in blood and nutrients. But the liver is always the primary target. Researchers have developed specific terminology for this behavior. Scientists sometimes describe this as precision butchery. The term evokes images of skilled craftsmen working with surgical precision. The orcas aren't tearing randomly at shark bodies. They're performing targeted extraction of high-value organs, minimizing waste, maximizing efficiency. The process is elegantly simple. The whale opens the body, removes the liver, and leaves the rest. 3 steps. Open, extract, move on. The entire process can take mere minutes, as witnessed in the starboard attack. Its predation refined to its essence, stripped of unnecessary complexity, focused entirely on nutritional optimization. The broader significance is clear. It is one of the most specialized feeding behaviors seen in the ocean. Many predators are opportunistic, eating whatever they can catch however they can catch it. Some show preferences for certain prey or certain body parts. But the orca's selective liver predation on sharks represents specialization at a remarkable level. It requires knowledge of shark anatomy, hunting skills to capture sharks safely, and the cultural transmission to pass this knowledge between generations. It's not just hunting, it's expertise. For years, Australian researchers had heard the reports from South Africa and Mexico. They wondered if similar behavior might be happening in Australian waters. In 2023, they got their answer. Evidence of this behavior has also appeared in Australian waters. Australia has extensive coastlines, cold southern waters rich with marine life, and healthy populations of both great white sharks and orcas. The conditions were present for the same predator-prey interactions seen elsewhere. But until recently, direct evidence was lacking. That changed in the spring of 2023. The discovery came from the south coast. In October 2023, a 4.7-meter great white shark washed ashore near Portland in southwest Victoria. Portland, a coastal town in western Victoria, sits along a stretch of coastline known for great white sharks. The beaches and bays here are home to seals, and where seals gather, sharks follow. But this particular shark hadn't died from natural causes or fishing gear. Initial examination revealed something unusual. Several internal organs were missing. The body was largely intact externally, but when examined more closely, the absence of key organs became apparent. This wasn't scavenging after death. The pattern of missing organs was too specific, too deliberate. The missing organs told a familiar story. The liver, digestive organs, and reproductive organs had been removed. The liver, as always, was gone. But in this case, additional organs had been taken as well, suggesting either multiple feeding events or a particularly thorough predator. The selectivity remained, muscle tissue and cartilage were present, but the nutrient-rich internal organs had been extracted. Physical evidence marked the body. Large bite marks were found near the pectoral fin. These weren't small bite marks from scavengers or minor injuries from fishing gear. These were large, powerful bites, the kind made by a predator with massive jaws. The location was precisely where Orcas had been seen biting in other documented cases, between the pectoral fins, at the body's midsection, where the bite opens access to the liver. The investigation turned to forensic science. Scientists collected DNA samples from the wounds. Using sterile swabs, researchers carefully sampled tissue from the bite marks, hoping to find traces of saliva or cellular material from whatever had bitten the shark. The samples were preserved and sent to laboratories for analysis. The laboratory work took time but yielded clear results. The results were striking. DNA analysis is powerful technology, capable of identifying species from tiny amounts of biological material. When the results came back, they provided definitive identification of what had killed the shark. The identity of the killer was confirmed. The DNA matched killer whales. Not just some large predator or probably an orca. The genetic evidence was specific and conclusive. Orca DNA was present in the shark's wounds. This meant an orca had bitten the shark hard enough to leave cellular material behind, hard enough to leave traces that survived in seawater long enough to be sampled. The significance for Australian science was substantial. This became the first confirmed genetic evidence of an orca killing a great white shark in Australian waters. Confirmed. Not suspected, not probable, but scientifically verified through DNA analysis. It put Australian waters on the map for this behavior, showing this wasn't just a South African or Mexican phenomenon but likely a global pattern in areas where orcas and sharks coexist. The consistency across oceans was remarkable. The attack looked almost identical to the earlier South African cases. The bite location, the organs removed, the size of the bite marks, everything matched. Whether the killer was an Australian orca that had independently developed the technique, or whether this knowledge had somehow spread between orca populations across oceans, the end result was the same. Orcas were hunting great whites in Australian waters using the same methods documented thousands of miles away. As we near the end of our journey, we must place these remarkable predatory encounters in broader context, the context of ocean ecosystems, conservation, and the surprising vulnerability of even the most powerful predators. Encounters between orcas and great whites are still rare globally. Despite the dramatic cases we've discussed, these interactions represent a tiny fraction of either species' lives. Most orcas never hunt sharks. Most great whites never encounter orcas. The ocean is vast, and even these wide-ranging predators mostly occupy separate niches. The encounters we've examined are extraordinary precisely because they're unusual, windows into interactions that occur but remain largely hidden from human observation. Yet even rare events carry important messages. Yet these interactions remind us how complex ocean ecosystems are. The ocean isn't a simple food chain with clear hierarchies. It's a web of relationships, constantly shifting, responding to environmental changes and the presence or absence of key species. The fact that orcas can alter great white distribution demonstrates how interconnected everything is, how the presence of one predator can cascade through the entire system. Position at the top brings both power and vulnerability. Both animals sit near the very top of the food chain. Below them are layers of smaller predators, herbivores, and the foundation of plankton and primary producers. As apex predators, both orcas and great whites shape their ecosystems through their hunting, their presence, their very existence. They control populations of prey species, which in turn affects plant life and the entire community structure. Removal has consequences. When one predator disappears from an area, the entire ecosystem can change. This has been documented repeatedly in ecology. Remove wolves from Yellowstone, and elk populations explode, overgrazing riparian vegetation. Remove sea otters from kelp forests, and sea urchins destroy the kelp. Remove great whites from South African waters, and we're now watching the consequences unfold in real time. The South African case study continues to provide data. In South Africa, the absence of great whites has altered which shark species dominate coastal waters. With great whites gone, other shark species have expanded. Bronze whalers, a smaller shark species, have become more common. This might seem like simple species replacement, but each shark species has different prey preferences, different hunting strategies, different ecological roles. The effects ripple outward. This can affect animals like seals and even endangered penguins. Fewer great whites might mean more seals survive to adulthood, changing seal population dynamics. But those seals eat fish that penguins also depend on. Bronze whalers might hunt different prey than great whites did, altering fish populations in different ways. Every change produces further changes, a cascade of effects that can take years or decades to fully manifest. Both species face challenges beyond each other. Despite their power, both species face growing threats. Being apex predators doesn't make them safe from anthropogenic impacts. In many ways, it makes them more vulnerable. Species at the top of food chains typically have smaller populations, slower reproduction rates, and greater sensitivity to environmental changes. Human impacts are massive in scale. Humans kill tens of millions of sharks every year through fishing and finning. Shark finning, the practice of catching sharks, removing their fins for soup, and discarding the bodies, has devastated shark populations worldwide. Great whites are protected in many countries, but illegal fishing, accidental bycatch, and legal fishing in unprotected waters all take their toll. The numbers are staggering. Estimates suggest 100 million sharks killed annually across all species. Environmental changes add additional pressure. Pollution, warming oceans, and declining prey are also changing their habitats. Ocean pollution affects everything from reproduction to immune function. Warming waters alter the distribution of prey species, forcing predators to adapt or move. Declining prey populations, from overfishing, from habitat destruction, from climate change, mean less food available for top predators. These are slow-motion catastrophes, not as visually dramatic as a predator-prey encounter, but far more threatening to long-term survival. the ultimate irony emerges. In the end, the true force shaping the future of both predators may not be each other, but us. Humans aren't physically more powerful than orcas or great whites. We couldn't defeat them in direct combat. But we change their environment, remove their prey, pollute their waters, alter the climate, all at scales and speeds that evolutionary adaptation cannot match. We are the super predator, shaping ecosystems globally not through individual acts of predation but through cumulative civilization-scale impacts. As you drift towards sleep, consider this: Port and Starboard hunting great whites is a spectacular natural drama, tooth and jaw and intelligence in conflict. But the real drama, the one whose outcome will determine whether either species exists centuries from now, is quieter, more complex, and entirely dependent on human choices. The apex predators of the ocean face an apex predator on land, one that doesn't even need to enter the water to reshape their world. Rest now in this knowledge. The ocean's great predators continue their ancient dances, orcas and sharks pursuing survival strategies refined over millions of years. But they do so in a changing ocean, a warming ocean, an ocean where the abundance and diversity of life that once seemed infinite now shows signs of strain. The future is not written, but it will be shaped by whether we choose to share the ocean or to dominate it entirely. Sleep well, knowing the story continues, the ocean still holds its mysteries, and somewhere in the deep blue, an orca patrols, a shark hunts, and life persists in all its terrible beauty.